Weil alum. I'm Matt Barr, one of the co-chairs of Weil's Restructuring Department. I'm also a proud member of both the firm's management committee and the philanthropic committees. Today, I am pleased to be hosting this edition of Weil Alumni Interview Series with one of our distinguished former attorneys, Shai Waisman. Shai was a partner in our restructuring department, where he handled some of the largest and most complex restructurings in history, including Lehman Brothers, American Airlines, Global Crossing, Loral Space and Communications, Atkins, Silicon Graphics, Stephen Barry's, and many others. Shai was recently appointed firm president of Kroll, the world's premier provider of services and digital product related to valuations, governance, risk, and transparency. In this capacity, he assumes direct oversight of all the firm's business units with responsibility for their commercial and operational success. He joined Kroll through the firm's 2019 acquisition of Prime Clerk, a business he co-founded, where he served as chairman of the board and chief executive officer. Shai, it is a pleasure to have you, and thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Matt. It is great to be with you, an old friend of mine and a former colleague, or perhaps we're still colleagues, but it's always great to be with you, my friend.
Great. Thank you, Shai. So first, congratulations on being named president of Kroll. That's a tremendous accomplishment, and all of us at the Weil family are really proud of you. So really, congratulations. Can you tell us about your position and what business objectives will be part of your initial focus?
Thank you, Matt, and thank you for your good wishes and the many good wishes I've actually received from many Weil attorneys, as well as alumni that I've had the wonderful opportunity to work with over the years. I really do appreciate it. It is a big role. Kroll is a global organization. We have over 5,000 employees, 30 countries worldwide, over 80 offices, and we are recognized as the industry leader in risk, governance, and transparency, which translates into scores of different businesses across the globe. My day-to-day role, Matt, is executing the commercial vision of the firm. Each of the businesses reports directly into me, as well as many of the support functions, the operational functions that support the businesses. My goal is to marry excellent client service with operational excellence to deliver best-in-class services to our clients, not unlike you at Weil. My initial focus is to drive creative, tech-forward solutions to better meet our clients' commercial, operational objectives, and empower our businesses to be more entrepreneurial and continue to pursue their growth. I'm also going to partner with firms like Weil to explore the many relationships we already have, and we have a phenomenal relationship with Weil across many of our platforms, but to let you know about more of the things that we do to help you help your clients. And I could go into many of them, but I won't do that right now. But if you think of one, think of cyber. We have end-to-end cyber risk solutions that are, I think, what the name Kroll is most associated with. And we are an industry leader. And whether it is managed detection, incident response, or investigations, we have a global team, former senior members of governmental organizations focused on cyber protection, FBI, Secret Service, the others. And we are relied on by a good number of S&P 500, whatever stat you want to hold out. Kroll has a presence. So those are the things that I hope to achieve in this near term.
And what cultural elements will you emphasize in your role, especially given the global footprint of Kroll and the change in circumstances kind of throughout the world, whether it's pandemic related or otherwise?
Great question. And I'm proud to say that I draw on my experiences at Weil when it comes to the importance of emphasizing culture. Here at Kroll, we have clearly delineated values that we all embrace and we constantly talk about. And those are excellence, ambition, inclusion, innovation, and courage. And all of those go to doing the right things for our clients and our people. And as we know, it has become incredibly challenging to operate a global business like Weil in a pandemic where we are not all together, and it becomes harder to form those personal bonds, to educate one another, to spend the time that we need to together. And we take all of our values and try and emphasize them in this, Zoom environment in a way that keeps us a cohesive unit, keeps us collaborating across levels, across business units, and making sure that our people are supported and that by definition, they are then supporting our clients.
Yeah, no, it's extremely important. And you hit on some of it. Culture is so important to the Weil family and values and virtue and things like that. But what are some of the other lessons from Weil that you still kind of carry with you on a day-to-day and in your new role as president?
That's a great question. I'm not sure we have enough time because most of my life lessons at this point that contribute to me as a leader come from my days at Weil. And, there are so many phenomenally talented and kind and good people throughout the Weil organization. And in my time, I got to learn at the feet of many of the partners that are no longer there, but had such a profound influence on me, but more importantly on, I believe, the culture of the firm that exists to this day. And when, I think about people like Harvey Miller, Alan Miller, and Steve Karakin, and Lori Fife, and Marcia Goldstein, we had this extraordinary senior leadership that was able to impart the importance of culture. Forget about legal excellence, professionalism, but the importance of culture in everything we did, I know contributed to the success of the department and the firm, and something that I strongly embrace to this day. And with that, we were taught to be tenacious. In many ways, I always like to think of us at Weil as scrappy. We were always willing to put in the extra effort, go the distance, compared to some of the other platforms. And being taught to, not rest on your laurels. And even if the problem appears the same, the next time it comes down, look at it from a different way, try to do better for the client, was hugely, hugely important. I will say, there was always this sense of make yourself indispensable, no matter if you were a first-year associate, a junior partner, or a senior partner, make yourself indispensable. My early days, as I'm sure you could appreciate, were spent photocopying for Harvey Miller. I didn't learn much standing at the photocopy machine, but people start to rely on you when they realize that you are willing to do whatever it takes to help them get the job done, to help the client achieve its aim, which of course, cycles back to repeated retentions by the same client. So, it was this sense of determination and professionalism that I learned every step of the way. And, many alumni that have dispersed to run many an organization, governmental, legal, corporate, were my peers, and we all learned under this tutelage. And I think if you look at sort of the Weil profile, you look at these individuals that are in leadership roles, you'll see very much the same thread through all of them.
Yeah, and this, and lots of folks who are probably watching this know this. I'm only here a little over 6 years, and it still permeates the halls. I mean, it is the culture of the firm. It is what makes Weil, among other things, and why you're proud to walk in the halls, walk into the office, and be part of this. It's still very much there, and that drive and making it the elders and the people that are there before you proud of what we're continuing. So it's nice to hear that what you're referencing is still very much part of the culture, because I'm obviously much newer to it than you were and lived it for a long time.
At the end of the day, we are all in the people business. What we do is not fun every day, but what keeps us coming back.
I love it.
But what keeps us coming back, right, are the lessons we learn, the camaraderie, the collaboration, the excellence, the pride we have. And it all comes from that culture. And I have no doubt that it continues in the firm.
Yeah. So you and I both share a passion for corporate social responsibility and charitable endeavors. And that's something that unites the broader restructuring community at large, frankly. Can you share what has inspired this sense of giving back that you have and some of the causes that might be meaningful to you personally?
My parents immigrated to this country, barely a high school education between them. I spent time as a child on a welfare line, mostly raised in a phenomenal one-bedroom apartment in Queens. Later on in life, whether it came to college or law school, things that were not in our means, I had the support of people that I did not know, that thought it important that I have an opportunity to get an education and unlock whatever my potential is. And that's just a profound presence in my life. And knowing that my opportunity, I'm President of Kroll, that opportunity goes directly back to those people that contributed to my education, having not known me, and I've not met them to this day. And that inspires me to do the same for others, whether it's my family or Kroll as an organization. It is a regular focus. For me personally, my family, as you know, Matt, I'm still involved as a co-chair of UJA's Restructuring Leadership Committee. I also serve on the committee, the broader Lawyers Leadership Committee. My wife and I are on the board, the New York board of an organization called Facing History, which educates public school teachers, teaching their students to be upstanders, to stand up for each other, to stand up for what's right, using lessons based in history of where people had an opportunity to stand up and make the right choices and didn't. I have been for several years now the vice chair of the board at my law school, where I'm a significant contributor because that opportunity was presented to me. And then a variety of other causes. Foundation for Education in Honduras, as you know, was a charitable endeavor created within the restructuring community to build schools in Honduras, one of the most, if not the most impoverished countries in the world. And we are, I believe, 5-6 years into it. And I think we've just finished building our 16th school. And it's all the hard work of individuals like us that have significant day jobs that deeply care about providing opportunities to children to unlock their potential. And that translates over to Kroll. Kroll has a charitable foundation formed in 2018, I believe. It has since that date donated over $1.2 million to charitable organizations across the globe. And we continue to embrace and empower the foundation as a firm. And we also do a tremendous amount of pro bono work in each of our practice areas, trying to help organizations that could not otherwise afford these services, whatever it is they need to help their organization. So again, it's a cultural thing, and it goes hand in hand with supporting your people and supporting your clients. You have to support the community. I think you've heard me say this before, but I think this applies to everyone in everything they do. But Harvey Miller used to tell us when we were, pulling our third or fourth all-nighter on a matter, and somebody had a complaint, to zip it because of our efforts. Somebody's kid was going to be able to go to school next year or go to camp over the summer. Everything we do has an effect on a business, a community, and we need to consistently push that ball forward and continue to help in everything we do.
Yeah, no, agreed 100%. Thank you for sharing that. So Shai, thank you so much for sharing your time with us. You continue to make the Weil family especially proud. And a Weil alum, thank you for joining us for this session. Continue to stay tuned. Thank you.
Thanks, Matt.